Yeah, I mean, we're selling a whole lot here. I started the consignment really out of, honestly, desperation at that point. I think when I quit my job in November, it was like $40,000 a month.
Welcome back, guys, to the PokeRadar podcast. This is episode 10. Woo! Double digits. I did it. We have another returning guest from the OG podcast. He is done big things since. Big things. This is we have some great, nice little personal things that we really enjoy to get together, I guess. But this is the one and only now. I guess you kind of like pushed me out a few months because you're so busy these days. But we have ZandG Emporium. James, what's going on, James? How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's really busy here all the time, and used to be, I had a regular job, so these kind of chats. I think we used to do like market things on what was it, PokeNav, or I think it was. We used to do like roundtable things, and
oh, that's right.
Yeah, I forgot about those too. Yeah,
wow,
used to do those things, and just talk about the market. But now that it's just 24/7 doing it, I just really haven't had time to really sit down much. But yeah, it is fun to do it.
You've I asked you a couple months ago. You're like, oh, I don't know, man. Maybe in like 3 months. Ask me later. You've since, obviously, for those who don't know, you've built a massive consignment business off of eBay with your brand ZandG Emporium, which was, of course, like you said, built off of really doing market talks, doing the analytical stuff, discussing what was happening with trends, with the market, how you were, you were pretty transparent about your business and the buying and selling of Pokemon. But originally you were a CPA? Were you a CPA or just you were an accountant?
I was just an accountant. Yeah, I didn't never went that deep. Luckily.
Never got the official. So. Okay. Well, that's funny. So the episode before this will be Ruxin 34, Mr. Yu-Gi-Oh. He was an accountant as well. So back-to-back accountants. Giving up the dream to add and subtract things to do Pokemon or cards for a living.
I know. Isn't Cool Trainer Ryan? Isn't he?
He is.
Isn't he accountant? Yeah.
He is. I guess I should get him on next.
Yeah. Yeah.
But. So you've you've got like an interesting story coming up and building up. If people haven't watched your stuff from years ago, I mean, you started really making content when, like 2018?
2019.
2019?
Yeah, 2019. I had been in, like the E4, that stuff, kind of been deep into it since, like 2016-ish. And then started the eBay store in 2017. Right. I just turned 30. And it's like, okay, it's time to make a little just something. I don't know. Once you get past your 20s, it's like I need to start doing something, not just especially nowadays, like everything's so expensive, even if you have a well-paying job, like it's almost like you need something on the side,
Right.
So and then started then, and then kind of just built off there, just kind of was just dicking around a lot of the videos. I've never been consistent on my content. It's just kind of, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's usually just all over the place. Sometimes it'll be spurts, all the time, and it'll just be silence for, a long stretch. Usually that has to do with, how busy I am. And then I just kind of, that kind of goes to the back burner. Because, I actually have, paying customers who want a service, and this is just kind of, content that I know can be advertising, so it can help the business, but at the same time, it's just kind of something I do for fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a pretty pivotal part in growing that business, right?
Yeah.
And because you're, I guess, claim to fame with me, I guess, like those identifying moments of like what happened with your business. You started off with these big box breaks. You were buying high-end vintage boxes, opening them up, selling the packs, which inevitably left you to a point where you had a decent inventory and traded it all for a first ed base set box to Dave and Adam's Card World. And then not too long after, you sold that box to Logan Paul for
it was almost
hefty sum of money.
I think it was almost exactly a year later. It was like 1 year and 1 day later. That I sold it to him. Yeah.
So nice capital gains tax on that one. Save a little bit. And then I think, were you full time at that point, or was that kind of the?
No. What? Yeah. So, I started like everybody, just like buying collections, like,
Right.
you have everybody, most people, that's kind of where you start, just kind of flipping here and there locally, doing that kind of thing. And then I can't remember why I got into, I think I just found someone was selling a random booster box. Maybe it was I think it was like a Spanish base box, which at that time was not worth almost anything in 2019. I don't think it was unlimited. But I just opened it and sold it unweighed. I think I sold it unweighed on eBay, and it was kind of harder to do unweighed on eBay, honestly, because a lot of people think you weigh it, and you're trying to get an unweighed price, and you really can't, because you just kind of sell it at the lowest price, and to get it moving, especially back then, it was all about just move, there's not really any time to wait. So and then I just started a YouTube channel, and from there got some sold something to Rusty. I think it was like a Neo Genesis pack or something, and then he promoted my channel. I had like 50 subscribers at that time, and a lot of it was just like I emailed eBay because I was like, I know I can't send a link through eBay because you guys like frown upon it, but can I send a link to a YouTube video that like shows what people purchased? And then I like had to go through like, I don't know, like their manager, and they're like, yeah, I guess as long as the video just shows what was sold on eBay, then you can send a link. So that's how I got my first like 50 people, is like every time someone bought something, I'd be like, because I used to make just videos of like, hey, here's what's sold today. And then it would show like your stuff being thrown into there. And somehow Rusty bought something, and then he shouted me out, and I got to like 200 something subscribers. And then Rhymestyle bought an unweighed I had on eBay Neo Genesis pack, and then he opened he really launched it, because then he opened a Lugia first edition, and it graded a 10. So he was really pumping up, you should go here for unweighed stuff. He is so that kind of, honestly, Rhymestyle kind of really launched it there, selling unweighed packs, because with his backing, he has on his multiple channels has probably over 1 million on all of them combined. He really helped there. So just sold unweighed packs, and
which is still like a missing piece, I feel like, or a very unsaturated piece of the market. Nobody really tries to be that person to sell unweighed packs and be known for that.
A lot of it's just openings for unweighed packs.
A lot of it's just openings now. It's just breaks. That's the only way to get an unweighed pack that's safe and whatever. And then you're paying the premium of entertainment on top of the premium of it being unweighed. On the premium of it being some sort of bounty or whatever bullshit is going on now. So you stuck with a pretty it was a needed niche within the market that allowed you to
you used to do that too, right?
Community. I was doing the breaks on Instagram because I liked opening things. I use it as an excuse to open things. I wasn't doing the bounties or anything, but that was before all these gadgets and doodads that are out there. These all these young people are using. I'm 30 now, so I can say that. But I used to do the breaks on Instagram, and which it was just to get my fixation of opening packs done. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that like you said, I mean, you just kind of randomly post now. Your evolution of content has been quite odd. You were doing a podcast yourself for a while that
Yep.
led into
Yep.
like just a table talk when you were going through consignment cards
Yeah.
to
Yeah. It's all over.
sporadic post now.
Yeah.
I get to see Cam every now and then at these
Yeah.
events. Cam and Alexis. You have employees now. You're a big shot.
Yeah. We have three employees. Two are in the office, and then one is remote, because you can just log into the multiple user access to eBay and then just do listings. So
That helps.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just all over the place. I remember you had Dan on, Catch 'em all collectibles,
Yeah.
and he is very consistent, and I am sometimes jealous of how consistent he can be. But
He is the most consistent to a fault.
I know.
He needs to take a break.
I know.
Get those creative juices flowing. But
Yeah,
he's doing great. I love Dan.
yeah.
I've kind of already. eBay has become very interesting to me lately, since I've gotten back heavier into buying and selling cards again.
Yeah.
Talking with Squeaks, talking with Dan, Nick, yourself now, Rusty. eBay's big, and I think I feel like they've been feeling some pressure from these other companies that are popping up, the whatnots and all that, where they're taking a little bit of market share. So eBay has interestingly been more open or involved with at least their community. And we started to see people's names pop up on their banners, like ZandG Emporium. So I think you might have been one of the first, at least from the group of people I'm very close with, that got their name kind of thrown out there front and center on eBay. What was that? Was that just like a blindsided thing that eBay just did, or did they talk to you a little bit before to be like, "Hey, we're going to promote your stuff"?
Yeah, they talked to me before. I mean, we're selling a whole lot here. I mean, it's kind of grown from. I mean, I started the consignment really out of, honestly, desperation at that point. I had started, because we went from all the opening the boxes and selling to Logan Paul, and then at that point, I built bought a house, but at that point it was like I had built an audience, and it was getting a lot of views in the videos, at least at that time, and was selling a lot. And then all of a sudden, Greater Gem in UK, which was the biggest middleman of UK, was like, we want to open a thing in the US. We want you to be the runner. And I was like, yeah, all right. Well, I mean, the first thing I asked, was like, how much is it going to be? Are we going to be the lowest price? And we were. So I was like, all right, well, I'm on. I've always been the lowest price for sealed packs, the lowest, anytime I bought collections, I was always the lowest on eBay by a cent or $1. So that was like, let's go. And that kind of, that was a crushing amount of work for 6 months. And then PSA shut down.
Right.
And then that means like, I just was basically out of a job at that point, because that was my whole, I quit in November of 2020.
That's why you quit your job.
Yeah.
To do that. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because it was like, when we started, the guys in the UK were like, oh, you'll probably get 1,000 to 1,500 cards the first month. And that was actually reasonable for what it was, at the middle. I think when we first started talking, it was like May of 2020. It's like, you might get that much. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Just a little side extra thing. And the first week, first month I got 10,000, and it was like 10,000 again. It was 20,000. I think when I quit my job in November, it was like 40,000 a month, or 50,000. And it was just pretty. It was a crazy time. But then PSA shut down at the beginning of, was it the end of March, I think, of 2021?
Yeah.
And then that was it. Then I was just kind of out of a job because that was all I was doing at that time. You know, it was definitely a full-time job for me. And Lauren, my wife, she has submitted tens of thousands of cards or so. She's probably submitted more cards than almost 99.9% of people if she walked into a Collecticon, you know?
Wow.
But, you know, so that was done. And then, you know, it was good because, you know, we made, you know, I still had to ship all the cards back when they came back, and I was paid up front. So there was really no more, it was just kind of work that I had to do for, you know, I wasn't going to get paid anymore. So about 6 months ish I was kind of a stay-at-home dad at that point, which is great. But at the same time, it was like, it got to like September of 2021. I was like, I need to start making some money, you know, because, you know, I'm going to have to start shipping all the stuff back.
Yeah. Was that good money though? I mean, if you're doing 40,000 cards.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was good money. But I mean, like, I didn't really realize because it was a lot of work to ship it, but then, or to like submit it. But it was even more work when it came back because 500 cards come back. They're all out of order. Yep. PSA doesn't put them in order anymore for some reason.
That was a terrible time. Yeah. I think it still might be like that. I don't know.
I think it's still like that. So, you know, you had 30 whatever people in a submission. You had to make sure everybody's cards were exactly as you put it on the spreadsheet. It took hours, and then you had to find everybody's addresses. A lot of people didn't, not a lot of people, but a decent chunk of people hadn't paid yet, even though they're supposed to pay at the front. So you kind of became a debt collector too. And it was just, a whole lot of stuff.
Do you still have some submissions from that era?
We still have, the guys at UK were like, after, what was it? 2.5 years, 3 years. Some of these like hadn't paid yet, and they hadn't paid grading fees. So they just sold them. And then to recoup the grading fees, they still have what they sold for. So if they ever respond, they can get the difference in money from the grading fee. But, you know, 2-3 years of we've paid the grading fee. But I still have on my shelf. I told Connor, I was like, I still have like, I don't know, 20 people that have paid. I'll be like, I'll hold on to those for 10 years. I don't care. They paid. They got it graded. You know, it's their stuff. I'm not going to like, there's no reason to sell those. Yeah. I probably still have like 20 of them. But
wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so it did that, and then, you know, and then I just had to do something. And then you know, Lauren was one I was like, you should do that, because we did consignment for a lot of these boxes too. Like people would send a box,
and you'd sell for
you break it open.
Yeah.
So we started it was like 8 cards the first week. And now we're probably averaging 1,000 cards, graded cards a week at this point.
Yeah, you have 979 auctions going right now.
Yeah. It peaked. We had a big one in like a month ago. We had like 2,000 in a week. So that was.
You're doing weekly auctions?
Yeah.
So how long do they go for? 7 days?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sunday to Sunday.
Wow.
So it's about averaging about 1,000 or so. And we're doing, we're a PSA dealer, and we're also,
that's right. The grade straight to me auctions.
Yeah. So we're doing that with PSA. We just opened that to Beckett and CGC like a few days ago.
Ooh.
So basically PSA, we've probably, since the end of March, we started that, and we've probably sent them 7,000 cards to get graded and then sent to auction. We've gotten back a few thousand of those, but I think we have a backlog of like 5,000+ that are going to come back to us and then just go straight to auction. We just started CGC last week, and I think we submitted like 1,000 the first week. Because we charge pretty, we take care of it all. We charge, like, CGC is $8.99 a card. PSA is $14.75. Beckett is exactly what they charge, $18 for subgrades and $16 without. So there's no return shipping, no anything. It's just a flat whatever, and they just go straight to auction. So it's a lot of people who just, want the most value out of their card, their raw card, just get it graded and send it there.
So obviously you get your dealer deals with the grading companies, get your little bit of gap there to make some money on the grading.
Yeah. And we actually lose money on all the grading.
Do you really?
We lose,
Why?
We make it on the actual sale of it at the auction. So it's a
Okay.
way to drive volume, drive.
Okay.
It's kind of like
you're like super competitive. Uh, Dan likes to talk about his moat, and you're building a big moat.
Yeah, the big. It's like the Costco.
It's trickling into your castle a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the Costco chicken. They lose money on that. They lose hundreds of millions of dollars on the Costco. The $5 chicken.
Yeah,
but they bring them. They bring other things. So that's kind of what we're doing there.
Wow. Yeah, taking big business methods and putting them into a little small business, and it's working. That's fantastic. Yeah. So, clearly you've gotten pretty big to the point where I'm sure eBay takes care of you. I'm sure again, if you're big enough with whatever company with grading, you can get special deals as well. People need to know this, guys. Like, do big things and you'll get deals. So are you doing any of your own cards anymore? Or are you fully like 100% all consignment? Do you have time?
I'm actually selling all my cards. I'm actually auctioning off like 200 next week and then 200 the week after. I think I'll be almost empty of stuff.
Wow. How do you feel about that? Is that sad?
Good, because you know what, we sold, just this year alone, we're probably at like 2.4 million we've sold of TCG cards. And
wow, 7 months, 8 months.
The stuff we see, it's like, I see this stuff all the time. I saw, we submitted 100 and almost 30,000 cards of graded gem to get graded. I've seen all the stuff I like are like set cards, first edition WotC, this stuff. Yeah. Like, I will always, my kids, grandkids will always be able to find this WotC stuff. It's not like rare stuff. Yeah. It's stuff that I will be able to get back. There's so much of stuff out there all the time. I mean, like you did with Rare Candy and Leonhardt, right? You found that huge collection, and it's like, it's absurd. And that stuff that's great. Like the binder of shining Charizards, yeah. It's like, I mean, come on, I mean, that's actually, expensive, rare stuff. Like, I'm just talking set cards. That is what I like. So, I'm just trying to plow as much resources into the business as possible so that, I can set it up to where it becomes just a machine of itself. And then I can go buy it later. It's not that big a deal to me.
Gotcha. So do you think that they're, like, with PWCC having been kicked off of eBay, did you feel like there was an opportunity for yourself to be the Pokemon guy? Was that a factor?
We have really, we don't accept sports, but there are some people that will throw in a card or two and we're like, fine, but we only accept TCG. And I think that's kind of what sets us apart, is that we, like Probstein is like, I think the biggest, there's Probstein and DC Sports 87, I think are the two like biggest, and Burbank Cards. I mean, they're all sports guys who do millions of dollars in Pokemon, and it's but they're sports, but they'll take anything, at that point. So we're trying to be that folks to where, hey, we are exclusively TCG, we don't think of it as a kind of a second class citizen, gotcha. that'll come through here, and really focus on that. And I think it's really helped, kind of set us apart, because, there are these consignment places that have been in business for 20, 25 years on eBay who just have, massive amount of sales, and, all the things that I'm learning, how to scale a business and employees and controls, and being able to, it's easy to ship one card, but shipping 2,000 cards and making sure nothing's mixed up, and then paying out, in a week, 6 figures to however many people. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that scaling wise is, they don't teach you,
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing that at Rare Candy right now. And it's it's a behemoth. The inventory system is the toughest part for me. keeping track of all that stuff. Thankfully I have other people that do that, but that's just like I just can't wrap my head around it. There's so much that goes into it. I feel like that it's just stressful, like you said. I don't want to mix anything up.
No,
you make mistakes. It happens, but
yep. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. That's different because you're building it. You're building it from like the whole website, though. That's even technically, it's different.
It's been a journey. I'll say that much, but it's fun. It's experience, right? So, because I used to do consignments myself as well back in the day. I never really promoted it because I wasn't set up to be an official consignment business, but it was just people were just sending me stuff because I was doing the podcast and people trusted me, and I sold things for them, and it was fine, and I paid my taxes the proper way. But also, being a consignment business, there's a lot of things that I think you should or have to do to be a proper auction house or consignment business, with insurance, with sending. What do you have to send? 1099s or W9? What do you have to send? I think 1099s, right?
Technically, you're providing the service, and they're paying you the fee. So, technically, they should be sending you 1099, but I'm a corporation, and corporations don't need 1099s and blah blah blah, all that tax stuff. But and then filing a return every single state you do business in. It's a lot. It's a lot of pain.
That's a lot. Well, thankfully, eBay takes care of most of that, right?
Yeah, for sales tax, but you still, if you have, sales in a lot of states, like you just, no matter what, you have to give them fees with it. I think if you sell like $1 in California, you still have to pay like a $1,200 franchise board fee. There's just a whole lot of stuff you have to do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just hand it to CPA and just write a check. But there's a lot that goes into this stuff that's supposed to be properly done. I know this business has always kind of been a gray area for most people, but yeah, it can be very tricky for those that want to legitimately start the business, scale it, build it. There's a lot of difficult, expensive, tedious tasks that you have to go through when you're buying and selling cards through the world. So, you mentioned you've done over 2 million this year already. We're 7 months in. That's quick. That's awesome. For a 3-man team, especially, that's a lot of money. What was the growth trajectory like for you? Since again, you started doing this at the end of 2020 or beginning of 21? The consignment was the last half of 2021.
Okay.
I think we did like 600,000, and then last year was 1.9 million. Now we're 2 this year, so we should double again. But
that's awesome.
Yeah. The thing with with employees, you always, and now we're in an office, and that takes a lot. And we, the business insurance. There's a whole lot of overhead that even if it's not like a brick and mortar, but there's a lot of overhead that you start the month way negative, and you really have to make sure there's somehow a steady stream. That's why I really got into providing that service of grading cards and then getting them auctioned, because that gives me a backlog to where otherwise it's like I go to the post office and hope there's packages there this week, right? That's really, if you don't have something to kind of backstop that, which is why we have the service of getting the stuff graded, and then we actually have a list of we know this much is in, we will eventually get this, blah blah blah. It's just you show up and you hope there's packages there. It's kind of it's a little scary, especially when you have a lot to pay out each month. But
so you're not spending time on getting your analytics and data for your investors to tell them what's coming in each month.
No, it's
that's nice. I hate that part. So doing it for yourself, you're not really inclined to have to provide all those numbers, all that data. So Did you
Yeah.
say you sent out 7,000 that you have in backlog, or just in total you sent out 7,000 to PSA?
Like 7,000, and we're about like 1,000 for the first CGC. We've gotten back a couple thousand. I bet we have like 5,000 ish still at PSA.
Okay, so
And then
realistically, you only have a backlog of 5 weeks
yeah, yeah,
between all those cards. Is
yeah.
what's I mean, do you have an even bigger backlog than that just at the office now? Are you pretty set for a few months, or is it
Uh,
really at the you're really waiting and hoping still
we do
for
have
things to come in?
we do have people who send duplicates. Like they'll send like, hey, I have however many of this. Like I want to split up over a certain amount of weeks. I have at least 5, 6, 700 of Rusty TCA Gaming. He sent us a lot of stuff
Oh,
to
good. Thanks, Rusty.
actually send. Yeah, yeah. He sent us a lot of stuff to. So I have that kind of there. But otherwise, no, it's just kind of building that and kind of just creating, a good customer experience so that they come back. I really need to look at the numbers, but it has to be like, unless you send it to us and that's like your whole collection, that's it. Like you're never going to have some again. For people who have like a lot of cards and who try it once, it's a very high return rate. So,
Oh, that's nice.
so that's kind of the big thing. It kind of snowballs, right? You get one person who likes it and they come back. I'm sure it's with like, Rare Candy too. I'm sure somebody who sends something in and then they like it and, you see that same name come in,
Yeah.
again, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I was taught that a few years ago from one of my buddy's dads who has a educational snack company. He likes to treat his customers as the few, the some, and the many. So the few are those big guys who kind of keep you afloat, make sure you have consistent things coming in every month. And then the some are kind of those more repeatable customers, but hopefully that word of mouth expands and they can turn into those few. And then the many are just you're just on the phone all day long trying to get more and more people in who hopefully buy something. So
Right.
yeah, I like to focus on landing those few to snowball the company and then build out from there. Tends to work. Usually easier for me. That's how I deal in things. So that's really good to hear. I mean, you go back 3 years now to the original podcast I did with you in the Meet the Collector series.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have I just had like a scrolling screen of your Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And yeah, you've come such a long way. It's really, really cool to see that you've been able to build such a successful business here. What plans do you have outside of what you're doing now? I mean, you have the consignment business. You just launched not too long ago the grading portion of it. Are there other facets that you're looking at to adding to your empire of ZandG Emporium?
It's tough because with business and with like even with content, if you try too many things, you can get really good at something and really build that out, and that can be successful. Or you want to scale it properly. Like with Graded Gem, I learned a lot about business. I really did. The biggest thing I learned was scaling improperly, because they're great guys over there. I mean, they got like, I don't know, 12 or 15. I don't know how many employees they ended up hiring, but they were just accepting everything. Kind of like PSA was, they were just accepting everything. They were getting 100,000 cards when they could only grade 20,000 a day. They were getting 100. It was like they just kept doing that forever. Yeah. It's like you can't do that forever. You either have to shut it off or raise prices. There has to be some kind of balance there. And it really taught me how to, you can't step on the gas immediately. You really can't. Even if you want to grow very quickly, you have to, introduce stuff, see how it goes, build a baseline of like kind of, okay, here's how much we have, here's how much work. And then you can kind of introduce something else if you do have capacity, or hire somebody else or whatever it is. So right now we just kind of introduce those and we'll see where it goes. I mean, there's a lot of levers that we haven't pulled. Like we don't accept sealed product. We don't accept raw. We don't, we just do TCG, which I don't think we'll ever do sports, but that's, that could be, but I don't think we will. There's eBay Vault. We could, be a middleman, charge a few percent, and get people stuff. We don't do buy it nows. We could do buy it now. There's a lot of levers that we haven't pulled, but we've built this kind of auction TCG only platform to where, I like the trajectory and I'm fine with that. And introducing the grading is kind of going to give us a backlog, and I'm just going to kind of see where it goes for there. But I mean, there's a lot of levers that we haven't pulled that we could, but I don't want to pull it. And then all of a sudden, we were just talking about just having a really good service, no matter what you are. If you're watching this and you're just kind of doing whatever it is, you take on too much, like customer service is gonna kind of fail, right? And then all of a sudden you get bad experiences, and then you go into, I rarely go to Reddit, but I know Cam goes to Reddit, that Pokemon investing subreddit sometimes, and like he'll see on there, he'll be like, there'll be comments, just random people that say, oh, you should send that to ZandG Emporium auction. Like this is just like word of mouth stuff that I don't even know who these people are. And that stuff can only be built with a trusted reputation. And if you take on too much, that's just going to fall apart, and then you can't really, pick up the pieces from there.
I need to take that clip and just show it to like every startup that wants to do something in Pokemon, because slow and steady wins the race, man. Like truly, truly, truly in the collectibles industry. You can move fast, hop on the trends, flip and make a bunch of money, but you're not going to build a long lasting, trusted brand.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. So that's an amazing piece of advice that not only individuals should be taking, but these larger companies.
Yeah.
I think I've been tied to quite a few of them. So it's
I think you've walked that line pretty well, actually, yourself, because I know you've built, a brand here, like on, a trustworthy brand, but at the same time, you also did kind of those big splashy, let me go to Dubai and let me do these big, big splashy things. So you kind of got to experience both.
And that was definitely a learning experience that I took from that, right? I mean, thankfully, I did the part. I built a trustworthy brand. I both from a seller, from a community member, relationship guy. So I built that brand that was long lasting, and allowing me to come back and do stuff like this when I take all my inconsistent breaks that I have with content and all that. But yeah, I was able to hop in and do a lot of the flashy, exciting things, sell to celebrities, travel the world, do crazy trades, own crazy cards. And they were incredible experiences, but I knew it then, but obviously looking back now, it just stretched me way too thin, and I was unable to keep up doing what was working for me, which was the podcast and the consignments that I was doing. I at one point I did over 500,000 in consignments, and I never asked for anything.
Yeah.
So, if I took that route, and started doing what you were doing, I'm sure it would have been successful. But then see what's happening. Now you're not even able to do content because your day is full, and I probably would have reverted back to wanting to do content again. So it definitely, I haven't figured out the exact path I want to take, but I know it's surrounded by this right here. Whatever path I want to take is going to be, the center point is going to be this podcast. So, how are you feeling now? Like, are you working too much, you think? Do you have a good balance at the moment? Are you ready to pull one of those levers, or
no, I feel like we're
wait for 2024?
No, I feel like we're at a good spot. At the beginning, it was pretty rough at the beginning of the year because, just had, just me and Cam, and then hired Brian at the end of January, right at the right time. It started to kind of surge in February and March and throughout the spring. Then we hired in Zach to be our kind of remote lister, and we've gotten very lucky about hiring at the right times, kind of right before kind of another surge, and now we're at a nice pace to where we have a good team, and we all kind of work well together to know exactly what needs to be done. So I've had at the beginning of this year it was kind of rough because there was a few weeks there where we were doing 1,200 cards a week, and it was just Cam and I doing that, and that's a lot to scan, list, and ship. 1,200 cards in a week is just too. It's a lot. And plus, here I live in Flagstaff, Arizona, which people think it's just hot in Arizona, but this is actually a mountain town. It's 7,000 feet. So we got 160 inches of snow this winter. So there were in multiple weeks in February, I think like 3 weeks in a row, we had blizzards, and it was like 20, 30 inches of snow in a day, and you can't even like get to work, and it was a lot this winter, but I think now we're looking a lot better. And especially it's like, I'm like, if you get your cards here on Sunday, they'll be listed by that following Sunday. And when stuff like that happens, it's like you're just scrambling to get stuff up. But we're in a good situation now to where I feel good about it, which is good. That's the whole point of hiring, right? For you not to be working all night and get some of that workload off.
Yeah, I've never gotten to that point in my life. I've definitely needed it.
Yeah,
but I can't do it. I can't hand off.
I thought that too.
Trust. Yeah,
but I thought that in the trust thing, and I think I talked to Dan too, because he's the same. He has so much stuff that he has to do, and he's like, I just can't really hire anybody. It's like, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah,
like 90. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's at least 90% of people are trustworthy, good people. I mean, they just are, and it's like it's kind of the same thing with people who, and probably why our business, and yours, kind of, like Rare Candy or anybody who sells like consignment thrives, is because people are scared of being scammed, scared of losing stuff in the mail. It's like we've shipped, I think on the eBay it says, I think it's sold 53,000 items. I've probably lost 15 packages out of 50,000. It just doesn't really happen. And with the same thing with employees, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, this guy's just going to come in here and, I leave the office and he's going to come in and just steal all the Charizards, and then just be gone forever. It's like, that's not what's going to happen. I mean, as long as you vet them, but most people are good people. Yeah. And, as I'm sure you've seen with, you met a lot of content creators and going to like Collecticons and stuff and meeting all these people. They're, for the most part. I mean, I know somebody like, Rattle or Possum Butt or any of these guys who like, trying to think about the thieves and people who like do bad things in the hobby. Like that's such a small percentage. I know they kind of get blown up because, that kind of story gets a lot of views and a lot of clicks, but it's really a very, very, very small percentage.
To think about it. I mean, at every event I hear about something getting taken from a binder or something getting taken from a booth. But when you look at the whole scale of it, there's, tens of millions of product on the floor at these shows, and maybe 10,000, maybe, gets stolen at most.
Right.
So it's really a very small number. But yeah, it is a very interesting point for some people to talk about and people to listen to. So
yeah,
it gets blown out of proportion for sure.
It does.
But yeah, that's one big thing that I talked about this recently, but where I've never heard a case of like this collectibles insurance being used, but then I heard Dan talking in a live about one of his packages that ended up either, I think it was an inbound package that never made it. And I mean, that's a little different, shipping insurance getting paid out. I'm curious if there's been any stories of like, I don't know, I'm guessing it hasn't happened, but inventory at a warehouse or, at your office getting damaged by water or whatever, and having one of these collectibles insurance companies pay out. Have you heard of any of those stories yet? Because I know they're getting bigger now. A lot more people are using them, but I just haven't heard of anyone like, oh yeah, my $50,000 Skyridge box just got flooded because my fire alarm went off.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of this. So have you?
I haven't heard of like actually like not being shipped, like stuff being covered. I mean, I have it with, I think I have it the same place as Dan has it, the CIS, Collectible Insurance something, I think.
Yeah.
But they've been great. I mean, I have lost, probably, it seems like I only lose a few packages, but they always seem to be expensive when they do.
Of course.
But they have covered every single one. I've just had to give them a list of what's inside, the market value, and they've paid out. It's not been an issue at all. I would recommend them to pretty much anybody. I mean, I probably had, I don't know, 10 packages that I've had to file. One was I submitted games to WADA to get graded. And it was about a $14,000 claim, and they paid it out.
Do you have to insure each package up to that amount, or will they?
Nope. It's a blanket insurance policy that, it cost me thousands of dollars a year to have it as the premium. But as long as, it covers up to $400 without tracking or without signature. If it's over 400, you put a signature, which costs, $3.50, whatever it is.
Right.
And then it covers it, it depends on whatever you buy, but mine's tens of thousands of dollars. It will cover up to there.
Don't tell me there was Super Smash Melee in that package.
There was.
No.
There was a, it's not my made in Japan, but it was a made in the US 85 plus VGA copy that I want to try I want to see what a VGA 85 plus would do at WADA.
Okay.
So yeah, that was lost. That was disappointing.
That's so sad.
It's gone somewhere.
That's where me and you connect the most on. I'll get like a random email from you once a year, like, hey, have you bought any more Melee? Like, I just got this one. I've never picked up the made in Japan. I just have the made in USA black label. It's I think it's a 9. Is it a 9.2 or 9.4? I think it's a 9.4 A plus. And then I also have a not for resale one.
Yep.
But I think it's still like the original. Like, it doesn't have the bestseller or anything on it, but it just says not for resale on the back. That's
I think that was 9.2. I think it was a pack in with the GameCube on it's like a Target. I think in 2001 or 2002. I think it was a year later. I got real deep into video games for like a year. I just got, real deep into all these variations and grading them, and I graded a lot of them. And then, I got I learned about all the variations of like Melee, and I learned the made in Japan one is maybe that. There's doubt as if maybe it's first, maybe they made in USA, maybe they're made in the exact same time. It's not like Pokemon cards where it's like, there's a first edition stamp. That was the first one that, came out for that. But, that was a very interesting ride that I had there. Had a few reseals, scammed way more in the video game world than the Pokemon world. Scammed way more. Just there's so many reseals. There are so many of these games that are resealed out there. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I also don't believe that the grading companies in that actually know 100% of the time, because it seems so easy.
That's true too. Yeah, that could also be a thing. But it was, I mean, I opened like one or two of them, and they didn't. One of them did have exactly what I thought it would have in it. That was like an F-Zero for Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
That I think was definitely resealed, but I don't know. And the other one was a Made in Japan Melee. I bought it,
Oh.
came back. It was like the first one I had seen in like 6 months because I'd just been searching for one to grade. Came up, bought it for like, I think it was like $2,000. Sent it to WADA, and they're like, "This shows that
Nice.
it's been resealed." I was like, "Oh no!" That was tough. But then,
Yeah.
like 2 months later, I found another one for like 500, which is real cheap. I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
it's like the cheapest you could possibly find. I got a 9.8 A plus, which I think is still a Pop One. It's still the highest graded Melee.
Has there been any movement on these? I haven't paid attention.
I don't think the thing with WADA is they update with product reports like every quarter.
Oh.
So their last update was like March. So I think they're going to do it at the end of this month. So maybe, I don't know.
No, the Made in USA Melee that I bought from a random Amazon listing that was just like, the standard, like, I think it showed a bestseller image.
Good.
And I bought, they had two of them. So I bought two of them. One of them was bestseller. The other one was the original. So I was like, sweet. Got this for like
nice.
$200. Awesome. And then, and then graded it. So got really lucky with that one. I don't think that's a thing you can really do anymore since video games popped off, but that was a little hack that worked out for me.
Well, the sealed ones popped and they died. It's just kind of dead now.
The entire video game market just
the loose stuff sells like crazy, like loose carts and
it's because people want to play the game.
Yeah I mean, like Melee, like if you look on eBay and look, just search how many of Melees are sold a day. I mean, it's like 30-40 a day that are sold every single day. Like,
well, Melee specifically, and this is probably a bias, but because I love the documentary on YouTube. I've watched it way too many times for how long it is. But the fan base with Melee is so crazy, even to this day. And it was a decent size. I mean, it's smaller now, but they needed so many games to play. So they had to open up like so many copies. I feel like Melee is one of the few games that there might actually be a low count of sealed copies left because of that reason. Because it was such a competitive game. They had huge tournaments. They still do have, well, I don't think they really do have tournaments anymore. They're much smaller now. If they do, they're like underground stuff. But so many, there was a stretch where so many tournaments were happening. A lot of people were playing that I just feel like they needed copies. So they were I'm sure they were buying up the market when it was like dirt cheap, of course. And just opening a bunch and playing them. So I'm curious. I'm really curious to see. I've never looked at the pop report. I wonder if the pop report of Melee is anything lower than, for being a big brand name game. Because like all the knockoff, like the low end stuff that you don't know much about, I'm sure there's lower pops. But like if you matched up Melee with like Samus or with a Metroid Prime, I wonder what that looks like, because I don't feel like there was many of those getting ripped after the fact of it being first sold.
I'm trying to look at the pop reports. The pop report, it is crazy, like video games, like how it's so small, the pop of like any video game, it's just compared to cards. Like you're so used to cards. I mean, like cards that sell for thousands of dollars have pops of in the thousands, in like PSA 10. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't exist, it's in video games.
Right? Because the pop report will forever go up, at least with this old stuff, because you're opening the boxes. But the pop report with video games, like you're not opening old boxes to grade. So it's a different dynamic.
It's like there's 148 Super Smash Brothers Melee ever graded, and that's like every single variant, 148 of them. So
look up Metroid Prime.
Prime.
Is that what it's called? Metroid Prime?
Yeah, I think Metroid Prime. Yeah. Metroid Prime is 119.
Oh.
So this should be less.
Yeah. My theory has been busted. But Yeah, because like they sell a bunch of video games. I think most of the numbers of video games sold is public knowledge. Um,
Yeah.
and they pretty much sell it that one time. People buy it, open it, and play it. So it's not, I just can't. I don't understand it as much. I haven't done as much research in video games, I'm sure, as you have, but
It's a strange market.
Yeah,
It's definitely
probably.
something I think I try to understand, but it's like, nah, I don't know. Plus, a lot of the community, like for cards, like people, I think, like if you have a graded card, they don't like. There's no real hate, but for some reason, if you have like a sealed video game, it's not like being played, or there's just like community that they just hate you. It's like that's meant to be played. Like, what are you doing putting it in there? It's like,
That's
but
funny.
for cards, it's like there's no, if you get stuff graded, I mean, who cares? I mean, nobody's like, there's not like a huge mob that doesn't like it. So
I wonder if that's the same for comics. You can't read a comic. You can't see all the artwork in the inside of it.
Yeah.
So there's probably a huge fan base of comic book people that hate grading.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that hate grading.
Yeah. Do you think grading's a scam?
I think it's a little ridiculous. Just how much money is put on some of these things that are, if you, it's been said a million times, but you break out a black label and you resubmit it, is it going to be a black label again? I don't know. But to pay 10, 100 times, whatever it is, versus a lower grade is, I get the conditional rarity though. I mean, it's like, it's been throughout history, the higher rare stuff that's, old baseball cards or documents that are in pristine condition, or coins that are like not rubbed down, that are in really amazing condition. It's just, they'll just always get the highest price. So I get wanting to buy, the highest stuff. Thing, but
it doesn't make sense to you for the modern
stuff it's crazy. The modern Pokemon. I guess people who buy Pokemon and modern Pokemon just have unlimited money. That's just all that's what I've come down to, is there's just unlimited money for Pokemon. That's it. There's just unlimited money.
Yeah, I mean, you hopped on the sarcastic train with Dan and posted a video about modern Pokemon and vintage Pokemon being too. What was it? Vintage Pokemon being too expensive?
I mean, it
makes no sense.
The pops of these are so high. Like there's so many of them compared to. I mean, there was a time, I think I remember, like during, what was it? June, I think, was the max like peak of, at least for now, that like Japanese modern like Lily cards, and those cards that went from, I mean, we were selling them at auction in like May for like like a Dream League Lily, and for $250. Yeah. And then in June it was $2,500. Gone up 10 times. I mean, these were a lot of the cards. I mean, we were we were selling for $20, and then they were $400 like a month later, and they were just continually pumping money. I think at one time, I can't remember what card it was. It was some Lily card. I was like, if you times the PSA 10s times the value of this right now, like you could buy every single like base set first edition 9 Charizard in existence.
Oh, the market cap was yeah.
It's just
it's insane. I mean, I remember looking at that with like Zion Williamson when his rookie year. It's like the market cap for Zion Williamson base rookies was higher than Kobe Bryant's. It made no sense to me.
Oh yeah.
Like it's disgusting. I was just at Kansas City Collecticon, and I bought the PSA 10 Zekrom and Reshiram full arts from Black and White, $350 a piece. Meanwhile, there's raw Japanese Ericas from 151 being sold for $350. Like, what is happening? Why are you doing this? It's so stupid.
I just saw someone just sold, I can't remember what Discord it was, but somebody just sold one of those Charizards from 151. PSA 10, $1,000. Like they showed, paid, sold, shipped. It's done. $1,000 for. I mean, I don't know. I think they just have unlimited money. I don't know where it comes from. I guess you just let it go.
I think it's time to like just make stupid plays and buy hundreds of copies of the dollar cards that are out there that no one cares about, and just wait for somebody to pump it up. Like it's idiotic. I mean, I literally could have retired if I just bought 10 of those Battle Day Lilies for $1,000 a piece when they came out. Just, all right, turn that from 10 grand to $1 million in a year. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it.
It doesn't. And I find it, I say that and it's like, well, am I just an old boomer? Is that me just being like, I just like vintage? Is that what all it is? Like, is this like, I try to stay with the times a little bit and say like, well, maybe this is, but the math I have a hard time. I have a hard time with the math of these prices.
It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
like you could buy one of those, like all the PSA 10s value of like whatever that, the Lily Cosmog of that, that box, like all of them, you could buy like every single Neo Genesis PSA 10 that's ever existed, and it's like,
It sounds so ridiculous.
I don't understand it, but maybe people just like the modern, the half box hollows, the half card hollows are just boring and they just don't like them anymore. I don't know. I mean, people like new Teslas, and there are a lot of people that don't like old, vintage cars. Yeah. I don't know, but it seems wrong, but I don't know.
We see a lot sell over the short course of time, a short period of time, but there's no way that the market would be able to absorb it all if it all just like flood it out. So, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will absorb it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm still sitting here buying Dragon Ball Z, enjoying myself, not making money doing that. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm lost. I thankfully still have a huge backlog of Pokemon cards that I've had forever. But I feel like getting back into it, which I will eventually full time get back into Pokemon. I feel lost. I won't know what to do. I haven't stayed up with the times, and it's just weird now.
The thing about it too is that I would almost like, I still wouldn't get it, but I would be better with it if it was harder to source, with like, you like, going to buy collections, trying to find these vintage boxes. It's hard to find. Like you'd like refresh eBay and used to go buy new and just, there's nothing there. Go locally. It's just real hard to find. Or like these moderns, it's like, oh, somebody has 1,000 of these dollar promos. Let me buy them all. Let me grade them all. Let me flip them all for thousands of dollars. It's like, it's right there. Yeah. It's right there on eBay. Or wherever it is, so you be in, Discords or forums or whatever, you just go to collect, somebody has just huge amount of quantity of this stuff. And it's like, well, I could just grade it and make money at this. It's weird. Maybe it's because I've submitted so much, but it's weird to think that people just can't grade their own stuff. And like they're willing to put the premium on that grade. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. I mean, I understand that not wanting to grade your own stuff because of the time it takes, but it's definitely not worth the premium that they're paying.
I know
for that.
And just like the sealed stuff, the promos, it's like great. Like, we're selling. We auction off a PSA like 10 of that, that stamp Pikachu and the stamp Cramorant thing. Like we'll auction off both of those PSA 10, which it gets a 10 like 80% of the time. Yeah. We're selling those for like, we just sold, the Pikachu one for like $920 and the Cramorant for like almost $200. It's over $1,000. You can buy right now those stamp boxes for like $500 or $600 on eBay. Like there's like dozens of them. You could buy them right now, break them, grade them, and probably double your money most of the time, 80% of the time. It's right there.
That's a great
You could buy
bet.
the precious collector Pikachu that are like $500 all on eBay, grade it. They get a 10 a lot of the time, and they go for like $800, something dollars. I mean, it's like all this stuff, and that's just like the expensive ones. I mean, there's a lot of like $1, $2, $10. I mean, like Dan is like, he's buying Celebrations Charizards off TCG Player for $80. He's getting them great. They get 10s all the time. He sells them for 200. He's buying those SS or 001 S Scarlet and Violet promos with a Pikachu for whatever. Sends them to Beckett. So what? A lot of them get 9.5s and 10s. You break even, and then you get 20% of them Black Label, and they sell for $400 a piece. Yeah. And they're right there. I mean, they're right
that's where
there.
I screwed up. I sent those to PSA. I live 10 minutes from Beckett too now, so I should have just given them all to Beckett.
That's the thing that like really blows my mind. Is like it's all there. It's like I'm used to, and I'm sure used to too. It's like just the hunt is like the hardest part to like find the stuff.
Most fun too.
It is, but it's just right there.
People are just lazy now. Yeah, we're definitely just being boomers.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're just being boomers. Yeah.
So, what exactly are your fees? Do you have a website?
Yeah, it's ZandGEmporium.com. Yeah.
Okay.
We sell for, it's like if it's over $100, it's 13.9%. If it's under 100, it's 13.9 plus $5, which does make the fee a lot higher the lower you go. But that's just, I have people that say like, oh, if you reduce that $5 fee, I have 5,000 cards to send you once. It's like, well, yeah, of course you do. Like, and I don't want to do that. I don't want 5,000 $10 cards, right. That's just, it's the same amount of work as,
so that's it. Just those two tiers.
Yeah. And then, well, if it goes over 2,500, then, eBay will reduce it. So I reduce it to 3.9%, any dollar over that, so it's the same up to that.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, everyone use ZandG Emporium when you want to sell cards. Now to break off a little bit, you are also a PokeDad. You are a father.
Mm-hmm.
You're a married man, have a child, and you're doing childish activities for a living.
Yeah.
What has that done for you as a father, as a parent, as a husband, to be able to have this life selling Pokemon cards, which you never thought of you'd be doing, and being able to raise a family, support a child? What is that like?
It's pretty humbling. It's pretty, because honestly, none of this, I mean, I'm just waiting on, I haven't met most of these, probably 95% of the people who send me stuff. It's like, they're just kind of just, people who maybe I've talked to and like a comment on YouTube or maybe an email, but we're getting big enough now to where like I'll go to pay out somebody and I have no communication with them ever, and they just, the note on the thing is just their email, and I like search their email and I've never talked to them ever. So it's pretty humbling to get to this point, and, just on people, supporting through that way. And, and with that, just being able to, use that and be there for, my wife and my kid. And we're actually due for another one in September. So it's pretty, coming up pretty soon.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's pretty exciting. But at the same time, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's, I've been at the corporate jobs where it's like you come in, it's kind of the same thing every day. There's always something new. If I want to take off, I can. I go in and out of the office whenever I want. I drop off my kid. I can pick her up whenever, because she loves school, which I didn't really like school, but she likes going to school.
That's good.
But yeah, just being present whenever. That's why, honestly, it's like I spend all day with cardboard, graded cards. Like, a lot of the reason why I don't go on like podcasts and stuff anymore is because once I'm done with that, I want to spend time with them,
Yeah.
And even though I like talking about, all this stuff, just like, well, but I just like to spend time with them. So that's just, I'm really, really thankful that, I've been able to build this because like with you and your podcast, the people you interviewed, and it's like, everybody's kind of grown. Uh, it's kind of crazy in different ways,
Yeah.
Be it they're huge into content now, or they've built out, whatever they've built, brand wise. And, it's pretty crazy, like PokeRev, like that was like, I remember he started, I started before him. So I had a few thousand and I was before him. And I remember in one of his first videos, he's like, thank you to TCG Gaming and ZandG Emporium for like shouting me out of my, and now he's got millions,
Yeah.
It's kind of insane where, and just these people who started just on like forums, E4, and just like buying and selling, and now they're doing it full time, like Nick or Dan or,
it's incredible. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, and it is cool to have had a lot of you guys on, obviously built real friendships with, real relationships with, but, yeah, like I had Nick on the first time. He had 2,000 subs. Now he's over 2 mil.
Yeah.
Had you on, before you were doing this full time, and
yeah.
You had just started your YouTube channel, and now you're one of eBay's top sellers in TCG. Same with like Dan and Nick. They had like Dan, he was the first time he ever was on YouTube, was my podcast.
Yeah.
And now look at him being consistent. Dan having done hundreds of episodes with Nick now, and, and where he's grown and he's gone. And I have Pat Flynn will have been on by this time too. When I had him on, he had just started Deep Pocket Monster,
right?
And now he's crushing it. Like, it's really cool, and I'm very humbled to have built the relationships and friendships that I have with you guys. We don't talk much. It's, like I said, it's an email once a year about Super Smash Bros. But I jump out of my seat and smile when I see that email. So, it's really incredible to see what all of us have been able to do and build, and where we are now. It's really great. And, we're all just getting started with this stuff again. You got families that are being built. So, it's really great. Thank you for being able to hop on for an hour here and chat. We miss the ZandG Emporium videos, the podcast, of course. So thank you for hopping on. But I'm so excited to like see where we all end up, 10 years from now. Most importantly, like 40 years from now, when we're all real old, real gray. I hope that we can all like connect somehow and do something, because that'll be hilarious to me. A bunch of 70, 80-year-olds opening Pokemon or whatever it is. That will be amazing.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. And people like we were just talking, like I was talking about the plays that you can make. Like if you're starting right now, I mean, there's so much stuff out there that you can still kind of build off of, I mean, there's still a lot of voids that exist. Just be it if you're just flipping on the side, or like you were just saying at the beginning, like weighed packs, or, unweighed packs, that you don't have to open, and source for that. There's just so much stuff out there. That's the crazy thing too, is like sometimes I'll see a card that comes through and it's like, I've never seen this, didn't know this existed, and I've seen hundreds of thousands, it's like, why did this exist? It's like a card from like 2006 or something, it's like, there's always something out there.
There's always opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Pokemon. There's always opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point that I'm starting to see, these breakers are building, 15, 20 employee companies. That kind of scares me, to be honest, how big those guys are getting, because the breaking side of the hobby is bad to a point, because it's all gambling and it's all
Oh
this
yeah.
extra stuff that's just sucking money out. And the size of these, I mean, they were all individuals at one time, and they're, utilizing whatever platform. But I'm seeing these teams get built bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's a lot of them now. It terrifies me.
That's crazy how
Yeah.
much people rip stuff and can have these audiences. Like, and some of these people have, like, I don't go on Twitch, but I know Cam has showed me like Twitch and like these people who are streaming pack openings and people you've never heard of, like who have people consistently buying stuff and they're not even entertaining. I mean, they're just boring. And there's like, it's like, man, if you have a personality and you like opening and you can be like fun, like you could build, like you could start from zero right now and you could probably build a pretty large business within, a year. I mean,
these people are moving hundreds of thousands a month, if not millions, the biggest ones, especially in sports. Like sports is a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
And I mean, breaking's always been a thing, but not to the extent it is now. And it's just, it really scares me. It scares me, honestly, because I did see there was this clip. There's Sport Card Investor. You probably know him.
Yeah.
He makes crazy allegations about, Ilorcana being going to be the Pokemon killer, stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But he did have one great clip recently with the Burbank owner. What's his name? I met him a few times, but I forget his name. But he talks about how he asked him, Sport Card Investor asked him, how are we going to 10x the hobby from now? And his answer was like, we're not going to, because all of this gambling and everything that's going on is not the way to build this hobby. Like, the reason that Pokemon does so well and Pokemon is growing and outpacing is because kids collect it, and it's mom and dad making the decision to get them into it and buy it. And it's building like a real relationship between kid collector card and the only people buying sports and buying into these breaks are adults. At least you hope so. I mean, there's definitely some kids out there spending money they're not supposed to be, but he's like, it's all about building a healthy, great experience from the hobby, from the card shop. And that's one thing that does terrify me, because Fanatics is taking away eventually, I think, distribution, going straight to breakers, to whoever. The card stores are just slowly dying again. So although I am seeing a lot of new ones pop up too. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people in the hobby, in the business, are opening up stores, but the majority of them are breaking centers. So it's concerning to me. I think that could be a pretty bad outcome for the hobby in the future.
Like, you're concerned about how much money people are wasting, or like just like the actual like legality of how it might be gambling?
Both. Yeah. I mean, mostly the money that people are wasting, because all the premiums and stuff that they're putting out there for this stuff to win whatever bounties, win whatever, all the mystery bags. Mystery bags, they aren't completely terrible. That's fine. But the amount of it and the amount of scamming behind it too. Yeah. There's just so much money that's being lost with the way things are being done that it doesn't circulate back into the hobby. So, and then, the legality thing, that's a whole other issue. I have no idea what's going to happen there. That's scary too. So
it is crazy how much, like I said, I feel like it just feels like there's just unlimited money for these people to spend on modern. It's just pretty insane. I mean, people do vintage breaks too, but it seems to be rarer and rarer. It seems to be just mostly just the newest set or whatever, and they're just opening however, whatever it is, $5-10 packs, and just continually just running through it.
I'll end up doing it again at some point. I have so many modern packs at my place in Michigan, because I ship there. I live in Dallas now, but all my modern is just sitting. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just there. And if I have to get rid of it, but I won't be doing $10 mystery bags. It'll be a $4 pack or I'll just sell it normally. I don't know.
Well, remember when PokeRev did like modern pack openings, and he would do 10-hour streams and just
Oh my god,
just die. That was funny. If he was doing that now, he literally could do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he would never not have an order.
Yeah. As far as like if he wanted to build a streaming team, like a breaking team, 24/7 nonstop for the rest of the time.
Seriously, insane. But
well, again, I appreciate you coming on, James. Great catching up with you. Glad to see how well you're doing. I don't know if you'll ever make it out to an event anytime soon, but maybe I'll run into you in the future somewhere.
Yeah, maybe next year. I was thinking about the Charlotte one, but then our child's supposed to be born literally that weekend, so definitely not going to happen. But yeah, next year, hopefully, be out there and go to something. But
save it for Charlotte, because Charlotte is going to become the epicenter for this, for us.
Because Rusty's there, right?
Because Rusty's there. It's all about Rusty.
It's all about Rusty.
All right, well, have a great rest of your weekend, man. I appreciate it again, and talk with you soon.
Thanks again.